Most people do not fail because their dreams are impossible. They fail because their routine is weak. They want a better life, but they do not want better habits. They want confidence, but they avoid practice. They want success, but they disappear when discipline becomes boring. The truth is simple. One focused hour every day can do what years of wishing can never do. 1 hour may look small. It may feel useless in the beginning. Nobody may clap for you. Nobody may notice your effort. But slowly, silently, that 1 hour begins to change your mind, your words, your habits, and finally your destiny. My name is Xylos, and this is the story of a poor cleaner who had nothing but tired hands, a silent dream, and 1 quiet hour every day. An hour that slowly changed his entire life. In a busy coastal city of Portugal, there lived a poor cleaner named Lucas. His story is not about luck. It is not about a miracle. It is about consistency. And if you listen carefully, this story may also help you improve your English listening, understanding, and motivation. Lucas was 29 years old, but life had already made him look much older. Every night, while most people slept peacefully in warm rooms, Lucas cleaned the floors of a large train station near the city center. The station was always crowded during the day. Businessmen ran with coffee cups in their hands. Tourists pulled heavy suitcases across the platforms. Students laughed loudly while waiting for trains. But after midnight, the same station became quiet, cold, and lonely. That was when Lucas started his work. He picked up empty bottles, old newspapers, food wrappers, and broken tickets. He washed dirty floors. He cleaned benches where people had slept. His uniform was faded, his shoes were old, and his hands were rough from chemicals and cold water. Every morning, when his shift ended, he walked back to his small rented room through narrow streets. The city was waking up, but Lucas felt like his life was going nowhere. He worked hard, but nothing changed. Some people looked at him like he was invisible. Some treated him like he had no dreams. Sometimes young men made jokes when they saw him cleaning. Sometimes rich travelers dropped trash in front of him without even saying sorry. Lucas never answered. He simply lowered his eyes and continued working. But inside, he was breaking. One winter night, heavy rain was falling outside the station. The platforms were almost empty. Lucas was cleaning near a small bookstore inside the station when he saw an old woman trying to lift a heavy box of books. Her name was Elena. She owned the little bookstore. She was nearly 70 years old, with silver hair, soft eyes, and a calm voice. Lucas quickly helped her carry the box inside. "Thank you," Elena said gently. "You work here every night, don't you?" Lucas nodded. "Yes, madam, every night." "You look tired," she said. Lucas smiled sadly. Tired people are common in this world. Elena looked at him for a moment and asked, "Do you read?" Lucas gave a small laugh. "Read? I barely survive. Books are for people with time." Elena did not smile. She looked directly into his eyes and said, "No, Lucas. Books are for people who want their mind to escape before their life does." Those words stayed with him. Before Lucas left, Elena took a small, used book from the shelf and gave it to him. It was old, with a blue cover and yellow pages. Lucas shook his head. "I cannot pay for this," Elena said. "Then pay with consistency. Read for 1 quiet hour every day, not 3 hours, not the whole book in one night, just 1 honest hour." Lucas looked confused. "How can 1 hour change anything?" Elena smiled softly. "A train does not reach another country in one jump. It moves station by station. A life also changes step by step." That morning, Lucas carried the book home. He was exhausted. His back hurt. His eyes burned from lack of sleep. But before lying down, he opened the first page. The first sentence said, "A poor routine can destroy a rich dream." Lucas stopped reading. That sentence felt like someone had spoken directly to his heart. For years, he had blamed life, people, money, and bad luck. But for the first time, he asked himself a painful question. What do I do every day that can actually change my future? The answer was almost nothing. He worked, he slept, he complained silently, he worried. Then he repeated the same life again. So that day, Lucas made a promise to himself. 1 quiet hour daily. At first, it was very difficult. His English was weak. He read slowly. Some words confused him. Sometimes he had to read the same paragraph again and again. Some days he was so tired that the book almost fell from his hands. But he did not stop. Every morning after work, before sleeping, Lucas gave 1 hour to his future. He read books. He learned simple English sentences. He wrote new words in a small notebook. He listened to English audio on an old phone. He practiced speaking quietly in his room, even when nobody was listening. At the station, people started noticing him. One cleaner laughed and said, "Lucas thinks he will become a businessman now." Another said, "Books will not clean your room or pay your rent." Some workers mocked his notebook. Some called him crazy. But Lucas stayed silent. Because slowly he was understanding something important. People who waste their own time often make fun of people who protect theirs. Months passed. Lucas did not become successful immediately. His salary did not suddenly increase. Nobody came to rescue him. but something deeper started changing. His mind became calmer. He stopped reacting angrily. He started speaking more respectfully. He started saving a small amount of money every week. He learned how to plan his day. He learned how to control his emotions. He learned how to speak to people with confidence. One day, a tourist from Canada lost her wallet at the station. She was panicking because her train was leaving soon. Lucas helped her search carefully. Because he had practiced English daily, he was able to speak with her clearly. "Please don't worry," he said. "We will check the waiting area first." After 10 minutes, Lucas found the wallet under a bench. The woman was deeply thankful. "Your English is very good," she said. Lucas smiled. Nobody had ever said that to him before. That small compliment gave him more energy than money. After that day, he practiced even harder. 1 year passed. Lucas became known at the station as the cleaner who spoke kindly, helped travelers, and solved problems calmly. Elena, the bookstore owner, often talked to him about books, business, and life. One morning, she said, "Lucas, you don't think like a helpless man anymore." Lucas replied, "Because I stopped feeding my helpless thoughts." Elena smiled. "Then maybe it is time to use what you have learned." With her guidance, Lucas started a small service near the station on his free afternoons. He helped tourists understand train routes, translate basic signs, and find local places. At first, only a few people came. Then more travelers started asking for him. He did not leave his cleaning job immediately. He was careful. He saved money. He improved slowly. Every day, the same 1-hour habit continued. He studied customer service. He studied communication. He studied basic business. He studied English. He studied people. 2 years later, Lucas opened a small information and coffee kiosk near the station. It was simple, clean, and friendly. Travelers could buy coffee, ask for directions, charge their phones, and get help in English. Some people who once laughed at him now stood in line at his kiosk. But Lucas never became arrogant. He remembered the cold floors. He remembered the insults. He remembered the nights when nobody saw his struggle. He remembered the old book that started everything. One evening, while closing his kiosk, Lucas saw a young cleaner sitting alone near the platform. The boy looked tired and hopeless, just like Lucas once looked. Lucas walked over and offered him a cup of coffee. "What is your name?" Lucas asked. "Marco," the boy said quietly. "You look worried." Marco sighed. "I feel stuck. I work every day, but my life is not moving." Lucas looked at the empty platform and smiled gently. "I know that feeling," he said. "Tell me honestly, how much time do you give daily to the person you want to become?" Marco stayed silent. Lucas continued. Most people give hours to fear, hours to scrolling, hours to complaining, but not even one focused hour to their future. Then Lucas went inside his kiosk and returned with a book. It had a blue cover and old yellow pages. It was the same book Elena had given him years ago. Lucas handed it to Marco. "Read for 1 quiet hour daily," he said. "Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for the perfect time. Start tired. Start small. Start today." Marco looked at the book and asked, "Can 1 hour really change a life?" Lucas looked across the station, where lights reflected on the clean floor he had once washed every night. Then he said, "1 hour daily will not change your life in 1 day, but it will change the person who is living your life. And when that person changes, everything changes." The station was silent. Outside, the rain had stopped. A train slowly arrived from another city, carrying people, dreams, and stories. Lucas watched Marco hold the book carefully, and in that moment, he understood the greatest lesson of his life. Your future is not built in one emotional decision. It is built in the small promises you keep when nobody is watching. It is built when you study after a long day. It is built when you practice even with weak skills. It is built when you continue after people laugh. It is built when you choose discipline over excuses. Success does not always begin with money, talent, or perfect opportunity. Sometimes it begins with 1 quiet hour, 1 tired person, 1 small book, and 1 decision not to quit. So if you feel stuck today, remember, Lucas, you do not need to change your whole life tonight. Just give 1 honest hour to your future, 1 hour to learn, 1 hour to practice, 1 hour to improve, 1 hour to become stronger than your excuses. Because small actions, repeated daily, can quietly defeat years of failure. And maybe, years from now, you will look back and realize that your entire life changed because of 1 simple habit you refused to break. If this story inspired you, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and write in the comments, 1 hour daily. Share this story with someone who needs hope today, because sometimes the right lesson at the right time can change a person's life forever.
How 1 quiet hour daily changed a poor cleaner's life. Power of consistency. The power of 1 quiet hour. In a small town lived a poor cleaner named Rahim. Every morning before sunrise, he swept the floors of offices and cleaned dusty hallways. His clothes were old, his shoes were worn out, and life seemed to offer him very little. People often ignored him. Some didn't even know his name. Yet Rahim carried a dream in his heart. He wanted a better life, but he had no money for college and no special skills. One evening, after a long day of work, Rahim sat alone on a park bench. An old man nearby noticed his tired face and asked, "Why do you look so defeated?" Rahim replied, "I work hard every day, but my life never changes." The old man smiled and said, "Give one quiet hour every day to your future, and your future will reward you." Rahim didn't fully understand, but those words stayed in his mind. The next day, he decided to wake up 1 hour earlier. Instead of sleeping, he spent that hour reading books from the public library. At first, it was difficult. His eyes felt heavy and many words were hard to understand. But he continued. 1 hour every morning. No excuses, no shortcuts. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, Rahim learned about communication, business, and personal growth. He improved his reading skills and started taking free online courses whenever he could. Nobody noticed his effort. Nobody applauded him. But every quiet hour was building something invisible inside him. A year later, Rahim had gained enough knowledge to apply for an office assistant position. The manager was impressed by his confidence and willingness to learn. He got the job. His salary increased. Yet Rahim didn't stop. He continued his daily hour of learning. 2 years later, he became a supervisor. 3 years later, he started helping small businesses organize their operations. 5 years later, Rahim launched a cleaning company of his own. The same offices he once cleaned alone became clients of his growing business. One day, a young cleaner asked him, "How did you become successful?" Rahim smiled and answered, "I didn't change my life in one day. I changed it 1 hour at a time." The young man looked surprised. Rahim continued, "Most people underestimate small efforts because they don't see immediate results. But consistency is like planting a seed. You water it every day, even when nothing appears above the ground. Then one day, the tree grows so large that everyone notices it." Years later, Rahim became one of the most respected businessmen in his town. People thought he was lucky. Some believed he had special talent, but Rahim knew the truth. His success was built on thousands of quiet hours that nobody saw. The lesson is simple. You don't need a perfect beginning. You don't need expensive resources. You don't need extraordinary talent. All you need is one consistent hour every day dedicated to your growth. Because small actions repeated daily become extraordinary results over time. Remember, success is rarely created in dramatic moments. It is built quietly, one disciplined hour at a time. Moral: consistency beats talent when talent is inconsistent. One focused hour every day can completely transform your future. How one quiet hour daily changed a poor cleaner's life. Power of consistency. There was once a poor cleaner named Hassan who lived in a small room on the edge of a busy city. Every day he cleaned office buildings from morning until late evening. His hands were rough, his clothes were faded, and his dreams seemed far away. Most people never noticed him. To them, he was just the man who emptied trash cans and mopped floors. But deep inside, Hassan wanted more from life. One night, while cleaning a conference room, he found a notebook someone had forgotten. Before placing it in the lost and found box, he noticed a quote written on the first page. Your future is created by what you do every day, not once in a while. Those words stayed in his mind. The next morning, Hassan made a decision. He would wake up 1 hour earlier every day and use that time to learn something new. Just 1 hour. Nothing more. The first day, he read a few pages from an old library book. The second day, he learned basic English words. The third day, he watched a free educational video. Soon, that 1 hour became the most important part of his day. Months passed. While others were sleeping, Hassan was learning. While others complained about life, Hassan was improving himself. No one noticed the change. His salary remained the same. His room was still small. His job was still cleaning. But something inside him was growing stronger. Knowledge, confidence, discipline. After a year, Hassan could speak English much better than before. He had also learned computer skills through free online courses. One afternoon, the office manager saw him helping an employee solve a computer problem. Surprised, the manager asked, "Where did you learn that?" Hassan smiled and replied, 1 hour every morning. A few weeks later, the company offered him a junior office assistant position. It was the first promotion of his life. Many people congratulated him. Some called him lucky. But they never saw the hundreds of mornings when he studied while everyone else slept. Hassan continued his habit, 1 quiet hour, every single day. He learned accounting. He learned communication. He learned leadership. Years passed. The office assistant became a supervisor. The supervisor became a manager. And eventually, Hassan started his own cleaning services company. The same buildings he once cleaned became his clients. One day, a young cleaner approached him and asked, "Sir, how did you become successful?" Hassan looked at him and said, "People think success comes from big opportunities. But my life changed because of one small habit. Every day, I invested 1 quiet hour in myself. The results were invisible at first, but consistency turned small efforts into a new life." The young cleaner nodded thoughtfully. Hassan continued, Never underestimate small daily actions. A river can carve through rock not because it is powerful in one moment, but because it flows consistently for years. Years later, Hassan became one of the most respected businessmen in the city. People admired his success, but whenever someone asked for his secret, he always gave the same answer. It started with one quiet hour. Moral success is not built in a single day. It is built through small actions repeated consistently over time. One focused hour every day can change your skills. It can change your confidence. It can change your future. Never underestimate the power of consistency. Story name: The Quiet Hour That Changed Everything.